with sickness since the day I was born. Father, what's going on? I don't know how much more I can take. Father, help me to escape so many years on potions and pills, continuously in pain. I just want to be healed. Doctor said I'd always be this way. They said my infirmities are in my DNA. Whose report will I believe? I will believe the one that sets me free. Whose report will I receive? I will receive the one that brings me victory, 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 victory. I love, I love, I love, I love, I love, I love. I love, I love, I love, I love, I love my church. I love, I love, I love, I love, I love, I love. I love, I love, I love, I love, I love my church.
Well, good evening and welcome to St. James Family Worship, the perfect place for people who aren't perfect. I thank God that you've taken the time this evening to be a part of this devotional review. We've reached a milestone. At St. James as it relates to devotionals. This is day 100 tonight of our devotional review. Before I get started, let me say once again, this afternoon we eulogize Kamora Thomas, who went home to be with the Lord this week. Continue to pray for the Thomas family, Cassandra, the Redrick family. Also pray for the Larkin family. Deacon Larkin lost his brother Kelvin on Thursday, and we are praying for him and for Kelvin and his family. Want them to know that they are in our prayers this evening. We're praying for Mother Alois Webster, who is in the hospital right now. We're praying for Mama Henderson, who is in the hospital right now. It's been a tumultuous week this week at St. James. So as a church family, make sure you're praying for each other. And on Monday, I believe it is, Minister Austin is going in for surgery, and she's always reaching out and taking care of people. Make sure that we are praying as we cover her as she goes in for surgery this week. This is day 100, and tonight we're talking about release your grief. Release your grief. Psalms 62:8 says, "Pour out your heart to him, for God is your refuge." God is your refuge. I think it would be fitting to just basically do a couple of points tonight as it relates to grief from what I did today at Kamora's funeral, because grief is a powerful thing. It can make you angry. It can make you sad. It can do lots of things as it relates to your emotions. And sometimes you'll feel like, man, this don't even make sense. It don't make sense. Kamora, a young teenager, all of a life left for her, we would think, and yet then she's taken. And sometimes as children of God, it seems like God don't make sense sometimes. Follow me for a minute. Sometimes it seems like life don't make sense. Why does bad things always happen to good people? Now let me take you down a road right quick. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. God is all. God is all. God knows all. Watch this. And if he is, he could stop anything at the drop of a hat. Remember when the light came? God said, let there be light, and there, bam, was light. So God is able to block anything, send anything. So sometimes we wonder, God, why a young lady like this, and then a rapist that done raped 5 or 6 people is still walking the street? Sometimes life don't seem to make sense. Job, first chapter, verse 20 through 21 says, at this Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground and worshiped, said, naked I came from a mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. And all of this Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. You know, life sometimes don't make sense, and it's filled with grief, it's filled with loss. And in my assessment of life, I find that no one is exempt from pain and sorrow. No one. Doesn't matter if you're a child of God or not. God reigns on the just as well as the unjust. No one is exempt from tears. As long as you hear, people will break your heart. Death is something that's going to happen. No one is exempt from unexpected events that can break your heart. And last time I checked, there's a 100% chance that you're going to die one day. 100% chance. So the key thing is, make sure you're living in a manner that you can die and be with God forever. Quick question. What happens when God doesn't seem to make sense in situations? Two answers. We're either driven to God, or we're driven away from God when it seems like life and God don't make sense. During that time, we need to move closer to God versus getting farther away. Grief will push you from God, or grief can pull you to God. Sometimes you'll ask, where is God in times like this? These problems I'm going through, where is God? Where is Jesus when I'm hurting the most? I know I got some people out there that's got to understand what I'm talking about. How do I become better and not bitter through this situation? How is it that I can be enabled to get to the point that I need to through this tragedy? Listen at this, and I'm almost through. Job went through some trying times. Job went through grief. But before the grief came, Job lost his employment. He lost his oxen. He lost his finances. He was the richest man in the East. He lost all of his sheep. He lost his transportation, his camels. He lost his friends. He lost his health. His body broke down. He lost the encouragement of his wife. She said, curse God and die in this situation. He lost his offspring. He lost all 10 children at one time. What grief Job had to be under with losing everything in the space of 24 hours. Here are 4 things that will help make a difference in your life when you're going through grief. Job looked back at his birth and said, naked I came, and naked I'm going to leave. In other words, he acknowledged that God had put him as a steward here. Naked I came, naked I'll leave. I didn't have nothing when I came, and when I leave, I don't have nothing because God placed me over this stuff, and all of it truly belongs to God. And when we lose somebody, a person in our life, we have to understand that God only loaned them to us for a little while anyway. Don't help or make the hurt any less significant, but we have to understand that all of us are on loanership from God. 2, Job looked ahead to his own death. He said, naked shall I return. I came naked, naked I will return. In other words, I'm going to return to the earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. All of us have to leave this temporary state that we're in. 3, Job looked up to God. He said, the Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. But he said, blessed be the name of the Lord. See, the key thing is your attitude during this situation. In other words, instead of cursing God, Job looked up and blessed the Lord. Instead of blaming God, he still acknowledged God and said, God, blessed be your name. You gave it, you took it away. You had the right. Why? It belonged to you to begin with. I was just a steward over it. And that's the way we've got to deal with it today, is understand that all of this and all of us, the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, all the world, and watch this, they, personal pronoun, they that live in it. That means we belong to God also. And the last thing, attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. You need to make sure you stay free from a destructive attitude when you're going through grief, because you'll start blaming the wrong person. You'll start blaming God. God don't make sense. And sometimes God does not make sense in situations to us because we're finite and he's infinite. He has a master plan that deals with everybody through the ages, and we only deal with the few people that's around us. So there's a greater plan, a greater scheme in all of this, and God is working for all things, work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. Did I happen to mention a few minutes ago, just recapping, that Job lost everything? Lost his finances, his transportation, his friends, his wife's confidence, his health, and then lost all of his children. God may not make sense sometimes to you, but if you stick with him, he will return and you will be able to do like David did. David lost his family and he said, Lord, shall I pursue and shall I recover? David recovered all. And watch this. Job, after losing everything, God blessed him to have more than he had this start with. If you will hold on to the horns of the altar until God fix everything around you, I promise you, you won't get over it. I'm not telling you you'll get over the grief. You'll never get over it. But God will give you grace to deal with it. And that's the powerful thing. God gives us grace. He's a gracious God. Who wouldn't serve a God like this? So don't blame God, because God is working to correct all of this stuff. There is an enemy that sowed this stuff in the night, and that's the devil. We need to place the blame where the blame is supposed to be. Death is because of the devil. So every time something happens, when it deals with death, don't blame God. Blame the devil, because he's the one who comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. God bless you tonight. I'll see you in the morning at St. James Family Worship, 1005 Nobles Road. If you're listening to me, not a member of St. James, come and be my special guest in the morning. Greet me in the hallway and tell me, Pastor Smith, I'm your special guest from Facebook and YouTube. God bless you and God keep you. I'll see you in the morning is my prayer.